back to another What's for Dinner. Tonight we are going to have dirty keto cauliflower rice. What you're going to need is 3 tablespoons of bacon drippings, 1 pound of ground venison or your ground meat of choice, and I'm using my ground beef from Butcher Box, 4 ribs of celery diced, 1 cup of diced bell pepper, half a cup of onion, and the parsley is just for the garnish on the top. You're also going to need 3 cloves of garlic minced, 3/4 teaspoon paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, and 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme, which I do not have any, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1.5 teaspoons of salt divided, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder divided, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 cup of chicken stock or water, 12 ounces of frozen cauliflower rice, and your sliced green onions is also for the garnish. You want to first preheat an iron skillet, or if you don't have an iron skillet, use a heavy bottom skillet. You want to preheat it over medium-high heat and add your bacon grease, or if you're using the oil, add your oil and heat that up. And then you're going to add in your hamburger meat or venison, whichever meat you're using. And I like to go ahead and chop mine up just a little bit, and I'm using a food chopper. It's similar to the Pampered Chef one. This one is from Walmart. And once you do that, you're going to then add in a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Once the meat starts to brown, you're going to reduce the heat to medium and add the onion, pepper, and celery, and then continue to cook that for about 5 minutes or until those veggies are tender and the onions are translucent. Then you're going to add the garlic and the next 4 ingredients, which I will have this recipe linked down in the description box. I did get it from Pinterest, so you can print that out if you would like. After you've added in the next 4 ingredients, which is your oregano, thyme, paprika, and cayenne pepper, you're then going to add in the frozen cauliflower rice and your chicken stock or water, whichever one you're using, and season it with the remaining half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And you're going to stir this to combine it and use the liquid to loosen the bits that might have stuck to the bottom of the pan. This will actually give the cauliflower rice the dirty color. And you're going to continue to cook it, stirring often until the cauliflower rice is tender and there's no liquid left in the pan. And then you're going to garnish it with the sliced onion and the chopped parsley and then serve. We did have this as the main course. We didn't have any sides with it, and it was delicious. Our next meal is Easy Keto Taco Stuffed Breadsticks, and that is a long title, but I will say this was very good. So what you're going to need is 1 3/4 cups of mozzarella cheese, 3/4 cups of almond flour, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, 1 large egg, half a teaspoon of cumin, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That is for the fathead dough. Now for the breadsticks, you're going to need 3/4 pound of taco seasoned meat cooked, 1 cup of Mexican blend cheese shredded, and salsa, sour cream, guacamole for dipping. I'm going to go ahead and start browning my hamburger meat for the taco meat. To make the fathead dough, you're going to combine the almond flour, mozzarella cheese, and the cream cheese in a microwave safe bowl. Microwave it for 1 minute, then stir it, then cook for an additional 30 seconds. Then mix in your egg, salt, and cumin, stir it very well, and it could take several minutes of stirring to make the dough, so keep on stirring. Put your fathead dough on top of that parchment paper once it's all mixed up together, and then you'll put another piece of parchment paper on top of that and then roll it out. You want to roll it out into a kind of a rectangular shape. Mine did not get into a rectangular shape. And then you're going to cut that into 5 strips to make separate breadsticks. Now that you have all of your dough strips cut out, you're going to put some of your seasoned taco meat onto the middle of this strip, and then put some shredded cheese down the middle of that, and then pinch those edges all together on both sides so that you connect them. And then once you have all 5 breadsticks pinched together, you're going to put them onto a baking sheet, a cookie sheet, or a silicone mat, and you want to bake it for about 14 minutes or until the breadsticks are browned and cooked. Like I said earlier, everyone loved these breadsticks. They turned out really good. I used guacamole, some pizza sauce, and taco sauce for dipping them in, and they were delicious. Our next meal is keto queso chicken soup, but I first need to make up some more taco seasoning because I used the last of it on the previous meal. And this recipe is from the 30-minute ketogenic cooking cookbook by Kendra Holly. I will be doubling the recipe because I like to keep this on stock because we have a lot of tacos around here, so I really like this seasoning. So what you're going to need is 3 tablespoons of chili powder, 3 tablespoons of ground cumin, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of celery salt, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 3/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. When I make this, I like to store it in a glass dish like this with a snap-on lid. You can do it in a mason jar if you like, but I forgot that it was going to fill up the glass dish, so I needed to pour it into a larger bowl so I could mix it all up together. And then once it was all mixed, I put it back into the glass dish. Now that the taco seasoning is made, it is time to make the queso chicken soup. The original recipe calls for this to be made in the slow cooker for 6 hours on low. I'm doing mine in an Instant Pot, but we also did things a little bit different from that. Instead of putting everything in the Instant Pot all at once, my husband thought the chicken would be better if we grilled it first. So I was like, sure, let's try it. We'll see how it is. So what you're going to need for the queso chicken soup is 2 large chicken breasts, boneless, skinless chicken breast, 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning, 28 ounces of diced tomatoes and the liquid from the can, 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, 2 cups of chicken broth, which I have stock, 1 cup of salsa verde, which I'm using regular salsa, 8 ounces of cream cheese softened, and shredded cheese and cilantro are optional for the topping, but if you like cilantro, definitely use it on the topping. It was unbelievably good. It was so good. The cilantro really added that kick of flavor. So I'm just cutting up the chicken now that it's been grilled. I'm going to cut it up in chunks and just put that in the bottom of the Instant Pot. The original recipe says once you have cooked it in the slow cooker for 6 hours, you want to remove the chicken, shred it, and then place it back in the crock pot. And then your cream cheese, you want to cut it into small cubes, place that into the crock pot and whisk it into the broth mixture until it's melted and well combined. And then you're ready to serve. Because my chicken has already been cooked, I'm using the meat or the stew setting, but I reduced the time to 13 minutes. And then I did a quick release at the end. And after that was finished, I did put in the cream cheese and mixed it all up. I could not tell a difference with the chicken being grilled. My husband said he could tell, but honestly, I couldn't. So it was really good though. I hope you guys enjoyed this What's for Dinner. And I will have all of the recipes linked down in the description below so you can check those out. And don't forget to subscribe, tap on that bell to receive notifications of when I post videos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!